Hello Driver Radio fans, Richard Rush here today with my dad, John Rush, behind the camera. And this is the review of the 2016 Lexus RX 350. This is the F-Sport model. You'll see some of the badging as we walk around. There's two trim packages basically. There's just kind of a base trim, and then there's the F-Sport package. And you can obviously get some different trim levels on there, being a premium, a luxury trim package that include a lot of different options with it. This is completely redesigned for 2016, and for those of you that are familiar with the RX and the Lexus brand, you'll notice that. I'm actually going to step out. I'm going to leave the camera right here, but I'm just going to step out and kind of show you. You can definitely see the more refined roofline, that more aggressive, sleek look, and honestly, the big grille. So let's get started, and we'll kind of talk about this car as we walk around it. You can see this massive spindled grille that they've added on here. This is unique to the F-Sport, this different type of a grille. Otherwise, it's just kind of a slatted grille on the normal base package. What have they done new for 2016? One thing I will note, we actually did attend the launch on this vehicle, and we got a lot of different information, and that's what I'm going to give you today. It's the 26-year anniversary of the F-Sport. For those, or not of the F-Sport, of the RX 350. For those of you that are familiar with the RX brand, you'll know this is a staple of Lexus. They sell a lot of these vehicles. They're a great selling crossover, a luxury crossover, I should say. It's got a nice floating roof line, and they've done that by adding in this piece of glass right here to give it that nice floating look, and a lot more vehicles nowadays are going to that look. So something that's very, very interesting. They've added a higher horsepower V6. In fact, they've given it 25 more horsepower, which for us at altitude is absolutely fantastic. Drives great. An all-new interior, which we'll get to here in just a second. An 8-speed automatic, which is now standard. Front-wheel drive that actually has an on-demand all-wheel drive, touch-free power rear door. And with that, we're actually going to kind of pause the video, come back and do the power rear door, and then we'll jump to the rest of the review. All right, fans, we're going to show you one very cool feature on this, again, new 2016 Lexus RX 350. A lot of manufacturers are instituting automatic features for the gates back here. So not only does it have a power lift gate back here, but it also has a cool feature which Lexus has implemented. Some people have a feature where you kick underneath it, some people where you just come up and it senses the key fob. Lexus has done it to where you come up to the logo and you wave at it. So I'm going to come up to the logo. All you have to do is you can either touch the upper part of the logo, or you wave your hand in front of it, you wait for a beep to sound, and you let it go. One cool security feature, and I'll actually close it real quick one more time. One cool security feature that it actually allows you to do is if you hold it too long to see if you're in the way, it will beep and basically tell you it can't do it. But real quick, so we're here, let it kind of open. You can see it does unlock all the doors, so I'm here. I'm going to touch it, let it come up, but if I wanted to stop it halfway, I just touch it right there, and the door stops. So if something is inhibiting you, maybe the car's not far enough into the garage like you thought it was, you can certainly hit that button and let it open up. And then actually, I don't think it'll do that, so let me push this button down, let it close one more time, and then we'll open it. Really a great, nice, handy feature. Lexus, I'm glad that you've added something in terms of the automatic and autonomous gate to where you don't necessarily have to have the key fob out of your pocket or physically lift up the gate. But as you can see, snow brush here in Colorado, that time of year, you've got about 18 cubic feet of cargo room. Here in this back seat, you do have a 40-20-40 split rear seat in order to put things down. Does not fold quite flat. And actually, real quick, Dad, I'm going to leave you there, and I'm going to come over here and fold it down. As you can see, because we already had that down, we had the center seat up, it already folded down with the other seat. So if we had the center seat down, you can put that down just by itself and leave the two outboard seats there. Doesn't fold quite flat, and it's very hard to see. I do apologize. With all of those seats folded down, you have, and I'm going to make sure my facts are correct here, you have about 56 cubic feet of cargo room, which is really fantastic for this segment. You'll notice a nice wide opening right here. You do have a nice privacy screen that you can pull back. And I'll actually put it down, pull down and up. Oops, I'm sorry. You got to pull down, come up here, and lock it in right there. So very nice, handy privacy screen right there. One more thing I'll mention before we hop into the back seat, and that is what they've also done on this vehicle for this year. They've increased the wheelbase and the overall length, so you do have more legroom on the inside, even with the sloping roof line, you still have ample headroom, and you also, in our opinion, have a smoother ride from RXs in the past, and that's just our opinion. You're going to have to be the judge. But that's, for the most part, is kind of everything that we have talked about. One more thing I do have to add while I will close this really quick, that is the F-Sport. What do they add for the F-Sport package? Just some brief tidbits there. You get a sportier exterior, the 20-inch wheels that we showed you earlier. You get a more adaptive and dynamic suspension, also additional drive modes, plus the different badging around the vehicle on the side, on the steering wheel. Again, the different modes, which we'll show you in the driving portion. So with that, actually, Dad, let's keep rolling. Why don't we come around here to the back seat, show you what this looks like. One thing I will point out, this seat right here is an exit position, which you can turn on and off. So it's an exit position right now. I'm going to show you what it looks like when I hop in. So I'm going to hop in here. Actually set this up real quick. So I'm going to hop in here. As you can see, more than enough room. Again, this is in an exit position. This seat over here is sat, I should say, for about a 6'3", 6'4" individual. This is in full exit mode. I've got indentations right here, so if I was a little bit taller, I would still be able to fit in here. Something that's a very, very nice feature. Honestly, I still got 4 inches of legroom very easily. And Dad, I'm not sure if you can show it, but I'm back here. I've got plenty of headroom, more than enough, to be honest, even with this nice aggressive roof line and with this sunroof, which lowers this part of the roof as well. There is an optional full panoramic moonroof available that you can get. You're going to have to be the judge. As far as interior apportionments, love what they've done with the door. They've added these nice silver polish features on here, some nice soft touch leather, really great features in our opinion. It makes this car look very elegant, very nice. Don't have any heated seats back here. You do have some 2 vents, 2 cup holders here in the center console, along with a power outlet / kind of a cigarette lighter back here. Again, right here, along with your two vents for heating and air conditioning as necessary. As far as getting in and out, very easy to do, very wide opening. Very much not a problem at all. So with that, I'll actually meet you around the side and we'll go on the front seat. All right, fans, we're here for the front seat. Gonna very, very quickly show you this before we head out for the drive. You can see the door apportionments very similar to the back seat. Nice venting there for the windows. Very nice apportionments, nice soft touch material, storage down below. It actually does fold out, allows you to put some maps, access it a little bit easier. Very, very nice. You will see you do have an automatic controls for the passenger seat right there, which is really nice features. These are the sportier F-Sport seats, I should say. I know that's a lot of the use of the word sport, but these hold you in a little bit tighter. They're a little bit smaller seats, so if you are a little bit larger, you may have to be the judge if that works for you or not. As we get to the dash, you'll notice, again, nice soft touch materials up and over. You'll notice the massive 12.3-inch screen available right there. We'll show you in just a second. It looks absolutely fantastic. As far as the rest of the interior goes, very easy to use, very easy to maneuver in terms of controls. I'm, again, in the exit position right now. You'll see it when we throw it into the drive mode, what that looks like. I can still very easily access the tune knob, the volume knob, all the other different controls as necessary. Very nice soft touch. I like how they've added this leather pad right here, so for a passenger, maybe you're a little bit more on aggressive terrain, they're not going to get their knees bumped right there. A lot of very nice features, a little bit hard to show you. One last point I do want to make, for those of you familiar with the RX interior in the past, this is a much more aggressive interior than in years past. They've sloped everything towards the driver, towards the passenger, in terms of this is just a much more aggressive looking and feeling vehicle, not only on the outside but also the inside. Again, completely redesigned for 2016. So with that, let's we're going to kind of hop in the back seat, take a quick drive, and then we'll give you our opinion of the 2016 Lexus RX 350 F-Sport. All right, everyone, here's the driving portion. 2016 Lexus RX 350, all new for 2016. Going to show you a few of the interior features before we actually get on the driving portion. So what is for this? This is pretty much a top-of-the-line Lexus RX 350. Dual zone climate controls. It's hard to see, but you do have heated and ventilated front seats for both driver and passenger. You do have the automatic parking brake engaged right now. You also have the automatic brake hold. What that means, when you pull up to a stoplight, You press the brake, car comes to a stop. You have the ability of being able to let your foot off the brake and the car will remain stopped. Here's the steering wheel controls, the F-Sport steering wheel. Here's your lane keep assist button. This is your frontal collision as well as your dynamic cruise control right there. Your phone buttons, as typical on all Toyotas and Lexuses. Here's your cruise control right here, but again, you can control your distance from right there. The gauge cluster is very similar to what you've seen in the past, especially for those of you that are familiar with the Lexus brand. Won't go through all the different menus that are open there, but just wanted to show that to you guys. So real quick before we do that, we want to show you honestly probably the biggest and most impressive feature in this vehicle, and that's this nice big 12.3-inch touchscreen or not touchscreen, I apologize, split screen display. So you have your menu right here, your typical Lexus remote touch interface, and I'm just going to kind of maneuver so you can select anything that you want to do. So let's say you wanted to go into your radio, you could do that. I'll actually turn it on here, and I'll just turn the volume down so we don't have to see it. Very easy to select. You can do that through the tune knob, or you can go over here to a station list. This is a very, very familiar system for Lexus, and for those of you that are familiar with Lexus and Toyota. The only difference is, and the main difference, a lot larger screen, and you can actually control what's over here on the right side of the screen. So if you wanted to put climate over here and have it easy access, you can do that. If you want it to be navigation, you can do that as well. Your phone, whatever you would like to do. So whatever's on this screen over here, so if I go to map, it will change the big main screen, but on the right hand side it is whatever I select it to be, which is a very, very nice, handy feature in our opinion. One of the best features overall. Real quick, do want to show you one thing before we go too much farther, which is the sunroof. There is an optional moonroof, panoramic moonroof that you can get on this vehicle in terms of lighting. Dad, are we okay in lighting or should I close it? We're okay? All right, so with that, we're going to actually take a quick drive here. Here's reverse. You can see you still do have access to your radio on the right side. You do have dynamic grid lines, which is fantastic. You can change kind of what the grid lines look like in the settings. We're not going to get too much into that. You'll notice it has more of a top-down view almost on this model. That is because you can hook this up, and this can tow up to 3,500 pounds. So with that, let's take a quick drive and kind of discuss what this vehicle has. So as we're driving along, one thing I will note here, and what's fantastic in my opinion with Lexus, is they've given you about 4 different modes. They've given you Eco, Normal, Sport, and Sport Plus modes, and it still gives you a comfortable enough ride that you're not having to worry about. And actually, I'll go to the Sport Plus mode right now, to where you're not having to worry about being jostled over bumps or anything like that. It's still comfortable enough to where you can leave it in Sport Plus mode all the time and not have many issues by any stretch of the imagination. They've done a great job at reducing the noise on the inside, and with that, I'll actually be quiet for a second. Very nice, quiet, spacious cabin and interior. They've done a great job at that. Part of the F-Sport package as well is when you actually get on it, as we get down to the bottom of the hill, I'll show you, they actually pipe the engine noise back into the vehicle because it's so quiet, you don't even hardly hear it. So Lexus has said, okay, you want the F-Sport package, so we're going to actually pipe it back into you, and you can hear that. And it's honestly kind of a cool, really nice feature in our opinion. Some people have knocked the acceleration on this vehicle. We had no issues with that at all by any stretch of the imagination. Worked really, really well. As far as fuel economy that you're able to average, I want to make sure I get this right, between 19 and 26 miles per gallon, so 22 average. I have been right around that 20-21. My dad does a little bit more highways, a little bit more conservative, does right around, I want to say 24, 25 miles per gallon on average for him. We're actually going to come up here and stop in just a second in order to do our opinion portion. One other feature I will mention, this is a front wheel drive car 90% of the time, and for that 10% that you need the all-wheel drive, it's called on demand. It will actually kick in the rear wheels and give you that rear wheel power when you need it, whether it's the road condition, temperature conditions, whatever it might be. So real quick, we're going to kind of pull over here so we're safe, and I'm going to turn around and kind of discuss what we think about this vehicle. This car, as it sits right here, as equipped, everything that we've shown you, $57,000. It starts out without the F-Sport package, without the larger display, at $49,000, and you can get the base, not having to worry about the F-Sport, for $46,000. But again, this model as it sits, $57,000. That's probably our biggest con about this vehicle. It's a lot of money for a crossover vehicle. You're almost approaching the Lexus GX in terms of price points. You can get a pretty well equipped GS for not much more money. However, some of you don't want the less sporty feel that the GX provides you. Again, this is a full crossover. You're going to get a very sporty drive with it, which leads me to my pros. I love the way this car drives. I love the drive modes, the interior comforts, the exterior and the interior styling. In our opinion, we think Lexus has done an absolutely fabulous job on that. They've given you more interior room, which this car was very, very much needing in terms of an improvement for that. The luxury features are right up there in terms of the competition. This car is going to compete with the Acuras, the BMW, Mercedes, a lot of those different vehicles. And some of you are saying, well, yeah, it's a Lexus. Well, the RX, the old RX, in our opinion, was falling behind its competition. This one is right up there in terms of interior apportionments and how this car looks, feels, and drives. Again, we were actually at the launch of this vehicle, and it just continues to impress. And so the biggest con for us, honestly, is price. You're going to have to be the judge if this car is worth it for you or not. If you want to learn more about this vehicle, head to your local Lexus dealer and tell them that John and Richard Rush from Drive Radio sent you.